What's up, guys and gals? It's Griever back here, bringing you guys One Piece chapter 999. This is really exciting, isn't it, guys? This is super exciting. Chapter 1000, and we are going to get it by the end of the year. It sounds like it'll be a very, very Merry Christmas to a lot of us because chapter 1000 is coming out before the end of the year. Chapter 1000 is coming out around Christmas. I am so stoked for that. I am so thrilled that we are going to have chapter 1000. Now, I know a lot of people are there's going to be spoilers, right? There's going to be spoilers. A lot of people are going to live react to it. A lot of people won't be able to wait because you'd have to stay off Twitter, Facebook, Discord. You'd have to stay off everything to not get spoiled. Hell, I almost got spoiled for chapter 999 just by somebody's YouTube video title alone yesterday. So the moment these translations come out, you're rolling the dice by going online, right? So I don't know how I'm going to do chapter 1000. I imagine that I will do a live reaction to it as well. Don't know when it'll be out. Don't know when I'll do it, whether it'll be a stream format. It just depends. It depends on how the holiday season works. But either way, we're going to read through this chapter 999. I tried to review it a couple of times here, recording it, and I kept missing stuff, and I kept going back and forth and back and forth. So you know what? We're just going to go through this page by page. There's so much to talk about. So, first off, we have the flashback that we all knew was coming. And I'm glad, because I believe I said this, that if we do an Ace flashback, it'll only be a few panels. It'll only be a few pages. And that's basically what we get. Half of the chapter, pretty much, is an Ace flashback, which is fine, which is good. We're getting the Ace flashback. We're seeing a fan favorite in Porky's the Ace again, and it's really cool. So, either way, at the beginning of the chapter, the sake I brewed to drink with you, we have Ace and Yamato going at it. I'm here to take Kaido's head, all this crazy stuff. So Kaido and the Calamities and stuff weren't at Onigashima when Ace arrived. So this is starting to make a little bit of sense. Remember, we all talked about it, like how did Ace end up at Wano? Was he part of Whitebeard's crew? At the time, he was not a member of Whitebeard's crew. That was a mistake that I made in a couple of reviews. He was not a member of Whitebeard's crew at the time by the looking at all the timeline and all that stuff. Right now, this is Ace with his own crew, with the Spade Pirates and all that stuff. He's by himself. Now, the thing is that after he leaves, we all wondered, well, how did he encounter Kaido? He promised, Tama, he promised all this shit. What happened in these years then? Why didn't they ever go and attack Wano? And we're going to find that out. But here we're seeing at least what happened when Ace actually was in Wano. And he said, well, I'll stop Kaido and I'll save you. He did go to Onigashima. He did wreak havoc. And Yamato was the only one there. And basically, her and Ace sort of had a brawl. Like, you're Kaido's daughter, all this stuff. And she basically wants to go out to sea. We already know this. She claims she wants to be like Odin. She wants to go out to sea. Ace notices the handcuffs that'll explode. The exploding handcuffs that are on Yamato right now. And we know that Luffy finally got rid of them, sort of idea. But Ace notices them. And clearly at this point, whether Ace was able to use the second level armament hockey or the Ryo or whatever, we have no idea if he was able to by the time of his death. But currently right here, it appears that he is not on that level yet, which makes sense. He's not even part of the Whitebeard crew at this point. So his crew actually manages to save all the hostages. They beat up all the people on Onigashima, and they did take a bunch of the Wano families back. So they did save a lot of people at the time. Either way, Ace decides, after clashing with Yamato, says that Yamato is so strong, like, this person has to be a high-ranked official. This person has to be a captain. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So we're going to settle this, and Yamato says, fine, I'll be your opponent, and they clash, and bang, bang, boom. This is really interesting because we're seeing Ace versus Yamato. Now, people are, I'm sure, saying that, Ace taking another L. He doesn't exactly take another L here. They sort of stop the duel. But this just goes to show that Ace was of a certain level that we already all knew, and Yamato, as we have seen, is also on this level. Yamato is definitely high-ranking, very strong. Probably could take down Jack the L, but we don't really know the full extent of her abilities and how strong she truly is at the current storyline. Either way, her and Ace seem to be evenly matched here, and they beat the living crap out of each other. Now, of course, this means a lot. Finding out that this is Kaido's daughter, this means a lot to Ace, because he's noticing the handcuffs, he's noticing all this, and he just says, you can't choose your father, Yamato. Ace has sort of slowly come full circle with that. Once again, he always hated Roger, which Whitebeard found very sad. Of course, everyone finds pretty sad that Ace never had anything but ill feelings towards his father, given his situation. But Roger wasn't a bad guy. That was not Roger's intent. Either way, Ace, of course, would know about Yamato's feelings. So this is a great matchup here because he's the one who says, you can't choose your father. So you hate your old man that much? Forget about the cuffs. Why do you let him chain your heart as well? Like, he's made you a hostage, but he's also weighing you down from your dreams too. Don't let him, he can chain your physical body, but he can't, chain what's in here. That's on you. You're allowing that to happen. You can break free of those shackles, if not the actual physical ones. So I really like this. This is a great way to open up the similarities, the parallel between Ace and Yamato is definitely not lost here, and it's right there in black and white. I really like that. We see that, I guess, Yamato decides to take down, after hearing this, she says, what? And she smashes down that statue we saw at the end of the last chapter. She smashes it, breaks it into pieces. This big, Kaido-looking, Shenron-looking dragon statue. And she claims, I wish I could leave as well. I want to sail out just and live free like Oden Kazuki did. I want to sail out and go on adventures and be basically paralleled here, in my opinion, sort of to the Nico Robin speech in his lobby. I want to live. I want to go to sea. I want to keep sailing and adventuring together with all of you. This is what my heart says. This is what I want to do. Ace and Luffy parallels here. This one, of course, we're crunch time, so we can't make it super emotional. We can't spend a whole chapter building up, for a brand new character and such, especially in a flashback. But I'm seeing the parallels. Ace and Luffy, once again, though not blood brothers, very, very similar in how they handle things. You could substitute Luffy for Ace here and Robin for Yamato in the, no, tell me what you want. I'm not going to leave until you say what's in here. Tell me how you feel, sort of idea. And I'm seeing the parallel. This is really nice. And I've only watched one or two reviews so far, and some aren't uploaded yet. But I didn't see a whole lot of people so far bringing up the parallels between Luffy and Ace here, and Yamato and Robin. It's basically a very rushed, for pacing reasons, a very rushed version of that. Ace is doing the same thing that Luffy did. And it makes sense. They're similar people. They're brothers. And it works. The parallels are not lost on me. I got the kidneys up here, ladies and gentlemen. So either way, I really like that. That was a great opening thing. And once again, you got to read between the lines to really see that. You could glance over this and say, oh yeah, it's just on surface level. Yeah, well, Ace hates his dad, so Yamato hates her dad. So, I mean, there, that's where it ends. But no, just dig a little deeper and tell me that this isn't some Luffy Robin shit. So I really like that. And once she breaks down the statue and claims all this stuff, Ace is like, alrighty, that's the spirit. And he, boom, fire fist Ace on that statue. And that's why it's all melting and stuff in the last chapter. That's why it's all melted. So they decide, alright, they beat up all the people there. And they're like, hey, sake, let's have a drink, and wah ha ha ha. Sort of like the Roger and Whitebeard pirates when they meet up. Like, let's clash and then let's... you got my arm pretty good there. Oh, well, I think I got a concussion from that one. Hey, you old bastard. That sort of idea, right? So that's what they're doing here. So Ace and Yamato keep, they're chatting along. They're having a good time. Yamato really wants to get these handcuffs off. Now, as I said before, whether Ace knew Ryo by the time he died, we don't know. It's possible. I would say he probably was more perfecting his devil fruit, because that's the thing. A lot of, we're following the main characters and stuff, But when you don't have a devil fruit, it's sort of like a focus thing, you know? Like, if you're playing an RPG game, generally you focus on one style of fighting. You're a mage, you're a warrior, you're a rogue, right? You pick your specialization. But then, all of a sudden, well, the rogue can use either twin knives or a bow. And, the mage can either use combat magic or healing magic, right? And not that you can't learn both. You've picked your specialization. But I find that a lot of characters, when they don't have a devil fruit, their only avenue is hockey. So they have hockey, devil fruit, hockey, devil fruit. They've all picked their class as a One Piece character. You pick your hockey or your devil fruit. For people that need both, you have people that are going to, like Ace, who probably focused more on, excuse me guys, more on his devil fruit than he did maybe on his hockey. Not that he didn't have hockey, not that he didn't utilize it, but once again, unlike somebody like Rayleigh or Shanks, who don't even have a devil fruit, you can put all your level up points into the hockey tree. So their hockey is going to be more advanced. Now, once again, with Luffy, there's a bit of an exception because he's always playing around. He's incorporating his hockey skills into his devil fruit abilities and such, and he's always learning the devil fruit stuff on the fly. But once again, Luffy, as we've seen, is not a master of his hockeys yet either, and throughout the New World, and he has not awakened his devil fruit yet. So once again, this is showing the split in the attention. One eye focused on this, one eye focused on that. I would say that Ace right here did not know Ryo, of course, because he couldn't remove the handcuffs, and for Yamato, and he may not have even known it by the end. He could have. But anyways, that's just the way I've been noticing that people that don't have a devil fruit can solely focus on their hockey, and their hockey tends to be more advanced or more fine-tuned than advanced people with devil fruits. Now, there are exceptions, of course. I'm pretty sure Whitebeard's hockey was probably as good as you can get, Either way, so Yamato really wants to go to sea, and they actually mention a lot of cool things here. So here, let's salute to all the references here. One of the best references, not so much Kid, Law, and Beige. The best is the Cabin Something guy. If you guys remember from Dressrosa, of course you do, you're One Piece fans. If you guys recall from Dressrosa, Cavendish was initially super pissed at Luffy because Luffy took all the fame away from him. Yamato asks, are there all these crazy people out there and stuff? And Ace says, well, of course, I'm on a different league. And honestly, I think that's a little bit not really boasting. He's boasting, but I think Ace is absolutely right, especially at this time. Ace was definitely stronger than Kid, Law, Beige, and Cavendish, right? I don't think anybody's going to argue those points. You want to argue how strong Law and Kid are right now versus a dead Ace? That's up to you, but I would say that Ace isn't just boasting, he's spitting facts. But he does say, there's Kid in the south stirring stuff up, there's Law in the north, Beige in the west, but all of them pale in comparison to my little brother who's going to set sail in a few years from the east. But he does mention the Cavendish guy, because Cavendish, of course, was super popular. Then Luffy came along, stirred up the world, and everybody forgot about Cavendish. But Cavendish was the name on everybody's lips, a few years before Luffy showed up. And Cavendish gets super pissed. So I love that callback. Oda remembers, guys. Oda knows what he's doing. And something about that, I think we're all got to clap for that because that's really cool. And I like Cavendish. I actually really do. So anyways, we sort of end the flashback here, though we will jump back to another part of the flashback, is after Ace says, yeah, my little brother. And Yamato's like, how long are you going to talk about your little brother? As much as I want to. My little brother's the best. Luffy is going to come out here. He's going to be amazing. And you know what the best part about this is that Ace actually, a lot of the time when we saw Ace basically didn't belittle Luffy, but he was always like, Luffy, what are you doing? Your fist is as strong as a pistol, whatever, when they were growing up. And then he was like, are you even trying to use your devil fruit? Like, what the hell? And when he sees him later, he's like, nah, Luffy, you can go and play at being pirate, but Whitebeard's going to be the king and all this stuff. But whenever we see him, when Luffy's not around, he's always talking up that his brother is the best dude ever. And you love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. So that's basically the end of the first part of the flashback. Yamato goes on to explain that that's what happened to the statue. This is a warning to Kaido and stuff. And of course, Kaido was furious, but in the end, Ace and Kaido never actually met. So very unfortunate, because it would have been really cool, especially by the time of Ace's death, because here he hasn't even joined up with Whitebeard yet. I would surmise that he got a lot stronger from the time that he was a captain up until he was the 2nd Division commander. I would argue that Ace, of course, got a lot stronger in that time. And it would be interesting to see how a fight between Ace and Kaido would go. I don't really know. Kaido is definitely indomitable, and we're going to see exactly how indomitable soon. But either way, that would have been really cool to hear how that sort of went down. But the rest of it is Momonosuke finding out that Yamato is, of course, Kaido's daughter, and says, no, don't worry about it, I'm Odin. And he's like, that makes even less sense, stop saying that. But either way, they continue to just talk about the fact that, Ace died and all this stuff. Then we jump over, and we're continuing the conversation. And at first I got a little confused, because they're talking about, Ace was supposed to come here, but he never did. And, I believe Yamato knows that Ace is dead, of course. And, Yamato knows that. So, either way, Yamato and Momonosuke are safe for the time being, along with Shinobu. Shinobu's there as well. Now, this is where we continue the conversation, but we're there with Otama and Nami. And Nami basically brings up that, Ace died 2 years ago. You see, that's right. Otama said, I believed in Ace. That's why I kept working hard to be a Kunoichi. Big bro Luffy couldn't give me the bad news gently. He's got no delicacy. And Nami basically says, because Luffy never brought up that it was his brother. And I really like this moment, because Nami's the one who said, I'm really sorry. That's just how Luffy is, Tama. I'm really sorry. But also, just so you know, that 2 years ago, that was Luffy's hardest day that he's ever suffered. That was one of probably Luffy's most difficult day he's ever lived. His mind actually broke at the time, and sort of idea. And so Nami's trying to, I like how she's saying this with sort of a smile on her face, being like, that's just the way Luffy is. But Tama, just so you know, Luffy was sort of putting on, that's the front he's built for himself. He's accepted this after 2 years, and he's always going to be Luffy about it. But at the time, it wasn't so great, and I like that. But we jump, once again, then we jump over to another scene where we're back to Marco and Zoro stirring shit up. And Queen is just yelling at everyone, going, what the hell's going on? Go get Marco. And all the people are like, yeah, but boss, Marco saved us. And it's like, well, yeah, but you want to be killed? So, Marco's just like, all right, well, I'm not actually here to go after Kaido right now. I'm just here to sort of lend a hand to the Straw Hats sort of idea. I was asked to come help the brother of Luffy, and that's or brother of Ace, and that's what I'm going to do, sort of idea. And he tells them, he tells Brook and Robin to run into the castle and get to the 2nd floor, sort of idea. So this is good, because Sanji is not going to be available if he's stuck with the very smile-like version of Black Maria and all the women. So it's good that we have Brook and Robin heading up that way. They will probably be part of the fight against Black Maria, not Sanji. So it's funny that everybody grabs Marco, and he's got a sword stabbed through his head and stuff. But of course he's a Logia. He's an Ancient Zone. He's Marco the Phoenix. He's turning his body into into the flames. He's turning his body into nothing. Sorry, I said Logia. Jesus. But the mythical zone, the Phoenix, and he's turned his body. He's like, whatever, and he's just looking at Zoro while they're all crowding him. He's like, Roronoa, you ready? He's like, yeah, let's do this. And boom, he transforms into a phoenix and grabs Zoro and poof, flies right up. And I'm like, he's not riding on Marco like we all wanted. That would have been really cool. But it's still pretty sweet, because Queen's like, what the hell? He's got one of the Straw Hats. And Zoro's like, this is a nice view. And I really love it. I love it because This is what we all wanted to have happen. Marco and Zoro sort of teaming up. Like, Marco, just fly Zoro up there so he can cut down Kaido. Because he's got Enma. Zoro has to be part of the fight. A lot of people are saying it's going to be Luffy, Kid, and Law. But Zoro is also a supernova. Never forget, if you want supernovas versus Yonkos, you have to remember that Zoro is a supernova. So, along with Killer. So Killer and Zoro are perfectly capable of being part of this fight if you want supernovas versus Yonkos and see what a team-up match would do. But also, Zoro is... It's all about the samurai. It's all about Kaido with the samurai. It's all about Zoro getting Enma. It's all about Zoro never having yet to go full out since the time skip. Where's his Azura form? How has it changed? How has he upgraded it? We've seen since the time skip, he has upgraded his existing moves. But we haven't seen him go all out in a fight yet. He hasn't had an opportunity to go 1v1 against someone of proper strength that can bring Zoro to actually going all out. We need to see, is Azura just a single move? Is it a new form? Can he extend it? Is there even a move he learned beyond that in the 2 years? I mean, a lot of people make the Naruto references with the opening of the eye, but the Sharingan, but I don't think it's going to be something like that. I just think that Zoro has yet to show us his full potential since the time skip. And this is the time to do it against Kaido. And it would be, he's going to be the one to attack the scar. He's got to be the one to actually reopen the wound that the Red Scabbards failed to do. He's going to be the one to do it. And Kaido is just going to be amazed. He's going to be like, and he's going to see the flash of Odin here. You know, Zoro might use two-sword style. He doesn't know Odin's style, but he knows two-sword style. He's going to see the parallels. He's going to see the similarities. It's actually more like poetic for Zoro to face down Kaido rather than Luffy, in all honesty. So, that's my take on that. Now, here's where we jump back to another flashback involving Ace, but it's Marco's own memories. Now, this is a part that a lot of people are going to have issue with, is Whitebeard's attitude. Whitebeard's attitude during this. But remember, Whitebeard and Shanks are not warmongers like Kaido. Whitebeard, Shanks, Sengoku, these guys want to maintain the balance of power for the sake of the peace of the world. Remember, these guys, we don't know as readers, we don't know what it was like before Roger, while Rox was in charge. By the sounds of it, the world was a burning wasteland. The One Piece world was a dangerous place to live. No island was safe. The Marines could barely hold on, to the point that Garp and Roger had to team up. It was a chaotic time. And it wasn't that long ago in the memories of people like Whitebeard. And Whitebeard is not a pacifist. He just wants to maintain the balance of power. This is going to be my argument here. Is because he knows what it was like when powerful figures like Yonko level people went toe to toe, and the amount of destruction and chaos it caused. They have had a relative uneasy peace for now years. Disrupting that is quite difficult, right? Making the choice to disrupt that peace. And not only that, but Marco brings it up here when Marco remembers, is that, you know, who used to be the 2nd Division commander was Odin, and we see Izo and Marco state, we only learned of Lord Odin's death several years after it happened. So that means not just like 6 months to a couple of years, they mean several. So it was, you know, oh, did you hear? Odin died. Odin died. Yeah, it's been almost 8 years. 8 years? How they found this out, we don't know. But Odin died many years ago. And at this point, it's not like it's, oh, we found out that Odin died and we weren't there for him. And I'm sure they all had their reservations about it. And Izo and Marco even bring it up that, you know, if you ever convince, you know, Pops to do this, let us know because we'll join you right away. Because they want their revenge, but they understand Pops' ideals. They understand why he hasn't done it. Because Marco even brings up, we have considered moving on Wano many times, but never did it in the end. Could you imagine what would happen and how many would lose their lives if Kaido versus Whitebeard happened? And the other Yonko wouldn't sit. At this point, Shanks was a Yonko at this point while Ace was part of Whitebeard's crew. I feel confident in saying that. And so Shanks would not probably sit idle if Whitebeard and Kaido went to war. The devastation to the country and countries that would happen. There's no guarantee of victory necessarily. And then what does Big Mom do? You weaken, and once again, this is what I'm talking about, the balance of power. Sure, okay, so they march on Wano. They defeat Kaido. A weakened Whitebeard crew, and Big Mom moves in. The other Yonko aren't going to sit idly by while two other Yonko go at it. Kaido himself tried to intervene with the Marineford War, and that was Marines versus a Yonko. It had nothing to do with the balance of power between the four Yonkos and their territories in the New World. And Shanks got involved. 3 out of the 4 Yonko got involved when it was Yonko versus Marines. What do you think the Yonkos would do when it was Yonko versus Yonko? That it was such a devastating move that you'd need to calculate it properly, and Whitebeard just wasn't willing to take the risk. Now, a lot of people are saying that that's going to make Whitebeard seem like a coward. I don't think it does. I really don't. I think Whitebeard knew what was at stake for the world, and Odin wouldn't want his whole country to burn, because that was the point. Remember what Odin did for years to try to save the people of his country. Odin wouldn't want to risk the destruction of Wano for the revenge of his death. That's not the point. Odin wouldn't have wanted that. Whitebeard knows this. And if they could do it with minimal casualties, sure. But by the sounds of it, Marco says they thought about marching on Wano many times. But Whitebeard couldn't figure out a way, probably. Couldn't gather enough strength to go, all right, we're going to go there. We need to be able to quickly get rid of Kaido with minimal casualties and still have enough strength to fight when Big Mom comes at my back. In my weakened state. It's just I don't see a problem with it. And I know I've been ranting about this for a while, guys, but this is the big thing that some people are going to take away from this, because we've all been waiting. Why didn't Whitebeard go avenge Odin? Honestly, this makes a lot of sense. It really does. Because Ace showed up and said, I made a promise, I want to go. And Whitebeard even says, you think you can take down Kaido, the man that Kazuki Odin could not? Don't be so naive. And I like that Whitebeard acknowledges this, is that Odin is far superior to most people in the verse. If Odin couldn't take him down, now, once again, Whitebeard probably doesn't know all the details and stuff, because Odin probably would have taken Kaido down, which is why Kaido's pissed. But if Odin still failed in any capacity to do this and to save his own country, what do you think you can do? Now, Blackbeard is, of course, in this, teaches in here, wah, ha, 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 zeh, ha, 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 you just want to take down a big shot. And everyone's like, shut up, Teach. You don't know what you're talking about. So Whitebeard, knocks Ace on the head and basically goes, all right, that's enough of that. And he said, so Ace has been fighting to keep this promise, by it sounds, for a long time. He keeps bringing it up to Whitebeard. Like, Pops, I gotta go. I gotta go save Otama. I gotta go save the people of Wano. I gotta go help Yamato. I gotta kick Kaido's ass. And Whitebeard's like, sit down, boy. You do not have the strength to do it yet. And Ace is really pissed about that, saying, I can't keep my promise if I don't get stronger. And, so he still wants to get stronger. And this is where Marco and Izo said, if Pops ever does give you the go-ahead, let us know. Marco and Izo are like, we'll definitely be at your side. We'll be at your back. They want revenge against Kaido for Odin. They do. They just don't have that. And once again, I would argue that maybe Whitebeard did. As Marco says, they thought about marching on it many times. It's not that the Roger pirates and the Whitebeard pirates were on bad terms either. I would think that it definitely crossed Whitebeard's mind. Maybe I should go talk to Scarpagabon and the Dark King himself, Rayleigh, and stuff, and say, look, we've had our differences, but I'm marching on Kaido. he killed Odin. It's revenge time. And having you guys at our back would, I'm sure you guys are pissed about it too. So you might as well, why not come lend us a hand sort of idea. He had the option to bring up powerful figures, but maybe even Rayleigh said, look, I'm in retirement, I'm an old man, the Roger crew is done. Maybe they we don't even know if Scopper Gabon is alive or dead by the sounds of it. Who knows where the rest of the Roger pirates are? We know where Crocus is, that's about it. I have a feeling that Whitebeard probably did think of, or maybe he's too proud to do something like that. Who knows? But either way, you could bring in Shanks' crew. You could bring in, and maybe Shanks and Rayleigh refused when Whitebeard initially thought of this plan. We haven't seen that, but maybe he thought, all right, I'll take the remnants of the Roger crew. I'll take Shanks. I'll take Rayleigh. I'll take Scupper Gabon, and we'll take down Kaido, and we'll avenge Odin. Maybe he thought of it. Maybe they got together, and they basically said, no, it's going to disrupt the balance of power too much. And it's just not worth it, or something like that. That's not what Odin would have wanted. There's so many possibilities here. I don't think this diminishes Whitebeard. I think this just shows that he was not just a one-dimensional warmonger like Kaido. That's all it shows. Either way, Ace even says, in that case, I bet we could win already if Marco and Izo came with me. Now, we've seen that Izo is, of course, there, and he's struggling against Kaido. Marco's there, and he's going to probably, Phoenix Flame to help out the Scabbards to heal them up. But by the looks of it, Ace, Izo, and Marco without Whitebeard or Rayleigh or Shanks, I don't see it. Marco's powerful, but I don't see them being able to beat Kaido, just the three of them either. This review is going to be so damn long, but it's chapter 999. I don't give a shit. So, Marco flies up, and it seems that he's crying in tears. It seems he's crying. He's remembering this fondly, remembering the good times when Whitebeard was alive, remembering Ace, remembering how adamant Ace was about keeping a promise to a friend, and and all that stuff, and that one day Izo, Marco, and Ace would march on. They sort of did have a loose plan that one day maybe Whitebeard will, when Ace gets strong enough, he'll let Ace go. When he thinks that Ace is ready, Whitebeard will back him and let him do it. Of course, things happened and it never worked out that way, but we see Marco fondly remembering and crying sort of tears of joy as he flies up with Zoro. It's a very nice moment, honestly. Now, the last couple of pages of the chapter, we get, of course, Queen and King in their ancient model Pterodon and Brachiosaurus model devil fruits going nuts. Now, here's something nuts. Here's something that, how is this a thing? How is this possible? Did we see this before? Because I'm still questioning it. Because they transform and they say, don't assume you can fly right past us, Marco. Of all the samurai, they're surely dead by now. And then King is also transformed and said, once we kill the son of Kazuki Odin, this battle is over and you've lost. So Marco, still flying high, going, hey, you want to tangle with me? Now, once again, I believe that Marco is stronger than any of the Calamities. Marco, would actually be able to not fight one-on-one v Kaido, I don't believe, but definitely wouldn't exactly get one shot like Luffy did either. So Marco is probably the strongest commander of the Yonkos. And he goes up and says, if you really think that, you're in for a rude awakening. You're pitting yourselves against the new generation now. We're just all remnants at this point. So sort of taking in the whole, all right, Roger, Whitebeard, Rayleigh, that's the old generation. And now King, Queen, Marco, all this stuff. And they're sort of, it's like, no, our time is past too. Marineford was the end of our era, and now it's time for the supernovas. It's the up and coming. It's their turn. It's their time. And Marco holds belief in this, similar to how Shanks believes, even though Shanks isn't that old. And Marco isn't either. But they're the last sort of their era. They were at the very tip. Sort of that whole, how you separate generations, You're right on the tip. Are you a Gen X or are you Gen Y? You're right on the cusp, you know what I mean? And you're sort of at the very tail end. Now, here's the thing. I'm like, what? So, Queen calls him a songbird, which is funny. He's a brachiosaurus. And he's got a shotgun in his mouth. Did we see this before? I feel like we haven't seen this before. How the hell is my question. We still don't know why the hell King is on fire all the time. That's just odd, because his fruit is the zone type ancient, pterodon. They're not flaming dinosaurs. So what? And Queen here, having a shotgun in her mouth, or his mouth, is not very dinosaur-y either. So how either one of these is possible, we still have questions. I have questions, ladies and gentlemen. I have questions. So, of course, Marco's not affected, because it's just like, whatever. Like, boom, 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 I'm going to shoot you down. And Marco's like, yeah, I'm just going to keep flying. Because Marco's mythical zone, basically, when he turns Phoenix, it acts like a Logia. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, this is where we jump back to Tama, who doesn't realize that it finally finds out that Luffy is Ace's brother. And I really touched a sore spot for him. And Nami says, don't worry, if he was truly upset, he would have told you. And now we get the same reaction from Tama that we get from Momonosuke, saying, Ace was Roger's son and Luffy's brother? Is this true? So now everybody's starting to figure out, connect all the dots. All the characters that don't really know what's going on, they're starting to slowly put things together for people. Ace died. He came here. He's Luffy's brother. He's Roger's son. Luffy's the son of Dragon. Let's go. So, and they're both here to kick Kaido's ass. So this is where Yamato continues to say, yep, you're the ones who brought Luffy here to Wano, and out of all the pirates as numerous in the stars, you happen to meet him and bring him to this country. Yamato is very belief that, I think that Yamato believes that, like, even with Ace dead, Luffy coming here is not mere coincidence. This is the will of some sort of divine intervention sort of idea. Like, of all people, of all the numerous pirates, you brought Luffy here. Ace's brother, even after Ace is dead and gone. Just like Yamato lives on to be Odin, Luffy carries on Ace's will to go beat Kaido as well in some weird roundabout sort of way. And I believe that's what Yamato is of belief here. And even says, I consider this an act of fate. Now, and also seems to know, she pulls out this book, the Kazuki Odin diary. And she knows all about the journal of Kazuki Odin. And there's something in there about it, because it says, after all, Luffy's name has the letter D in the middle. And it's like, what? So next chapter, we are likely to get Yamato explaining something significant about the will of D from the writings of Kazuki Odin, one who has traveled with the Pirate King's crew, who knows, who could read the language. And now Yamato clearly knows about it as well, because she also has read the journal. And this is such a major thing, guys. This is so big. I'm beside myself. I really am. This review is going to be as long as a Tekking review. I swear to hell. But I don't mind. I'm so excited. I got great views on the last video, my trailer reaction to Shimatsu no Valkyrie. Go check that out. So if this one only gets 10 views, it don't matter. It don't matter to me. I'm just having a great time reading One Piece. So, last part of the chapter, and I know here, we're getting to it. Very last part. So, Mama has showed up with Kaido. Kaido's sitting there drinking. I guess the scabbards are down and done for. Straw Hat's not here, so Big Mom and Kaido are together. She's got Zeus. She's got Zeus there. She got Prometheus. Kaido's sitting there. Kill as many as you want, but leave Nico Robin alive. And then we get a big shot of Kaido chilling with Big Mom. So now 2 Yonkos. So it's not going to be Kaido versus Luffy. It's going to be 2 Yonkos against everybody. This is setting up for such a big battle, guys. Everybody's been pissed about the skipping of the battles, but wouldn't you be more psyched that Oda gives us 12, 20 chapters of just everybody in the same fight? Marineford pale in comparison levels here. Let's go. So Kaido even says, "Can't the three eyes of yours read the ancient writing?" And Big Mom says that there's some sort of true eye to awaken. She hasn't awakened that eye yet. Now, there's been a lot of theories about this before, but the three-eyed tribe somehow is able to unlock a way to maybe... It's one of those things where the third eye, when it's trained, or sort of like hockey or something, like when you fully awaken it, you can read all writings, even if you never saw them before. You can understand, sort of like a Google Translate to the voice of all things. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like a cheat sort of idea. That's the way I'm looking at it. And she says, "You mean pudding?" She can't wait around forever for her eye to awaken. And then says, there's going to be a lot of deaths if you drop this island in the flower capital. He goes, well, they're all just slaves anyway, so it doesn't matter. So they're just chilling together. Of course, Kaido drinking. I mean, there's no problem here. So Kaido and Big Mom now want to keep Nico Robin alive because they need to be able to read the red poneglyphs, the robe poneglyphs. Clearly, by the sounds of it, they haven't been able to read them yet. So either way, Big Mom asks, "Is your robe poneglyph there?" And Kaido says, "It's too early for you to be that eager, don't you think?" Sort of idea. It's like, is that where it is? And he's like, "Look, we both know we're pirates. We're going to betray each other in the end. But let's keep our, could you put a lid on your selfish ambition right now? Do you want to be so transparent after what you want?" And Big Mom even says, "Don't insult me. I still think of you as my little brother." So Kaido, I still don't think we have an age for Kaido, and maybe that's something that people have brought up, that Kaido might actually be a dragon and all this stuff, but it sounds like Kaido is not an actual dragon, ladies and gentlemen, because Big Mom thinks of Kaido as a little brother, so clearly probably at least 5 to 6 years younger than Big Mom, and also on the day that rocks fell into the ruin at God Valley. So rocks fell. All right, I gave you the legendary model of the fish fruit. Now this, you owe me for life, Kaido. And then we're going to talk about that in a second. We can talk about all this after we get the One Piece. And then next chapter hits January 3rd. That's the official. Now, when I said at the beginning of this video that we were going to get it before the end of the year, a lot of people are saying the unofficial translation will be out sometime around Christmas. Now, that's unconfirmed, of course. It's, third-party sources, but that's what we hear. And the thing about it is, I don't see, if there's going to be a scanlation and a translation of it for a week, between the time of Christmas Day and January 3rd, everybody's going to have reviewed it by then. So nobody's going to wait for January 3rd if that is the case, if those sources can be believed. So I think this time, unfortunately, I don't think anybody's going to be reviewing the official Viz if that's the case. Now, that could be totally misinformation, and we won't get it until, after the new year. But either way, the next chapter is coming, guys. It is coming. We're almost there. We're almost there, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, to talk about the last part, I might as well call this the Teching 101 inspired review, because it's going to be an hour long, like all of his are. So, might as well call it that. I'm supposed to be watching football right now. So, last two things to say. Number one, Kaido has the legendary fish fruit. So the mythical fish fruit. Now, how is he a fish if he's a dragon? Well, ladies and gentlemen, number one, it's the mythical version. It's mythical. Now look at the scales. on Kaido's tattoo. And look at the scales of a koi fish. Think about the references to koi fish. Think about their representation in samurai culture in Japan. Now, let me tell you the story, the legend of the koi fish that climbed the waterfall. Wano, waterfall, to get up to the top. See where I'm going with this? I don't know. I have read this legend before, and I knew about this legend way back when, before I was even reading One Piece. But it's a simple telling. I'll just, to do it in layman's terms. There is a story, a legend, about a school of koi fish. And once again, this is very basic. I'm skipping a lot of details. That, would travel along, and they encountered a waterfall. And they tried to climb up the waterfall. Koi fish are known, this is a very thing. They climb up fish that go up the waterfall. And they attempted, and they could not get up the waterfall. And the demons that stood at the top of the waterfall laughed, and they kept raising the water higher and higher, making the waterfall more difficult. Eventually, a single koi fish from the school managed to get all the way to the top, regardless of all the sneering and snickering and evil deeds of the demons that sat at the top of the waterfall. This koi fish managed to get all the way up to the top, and when he did, the gods were so impressed that they blessed this fish into becoming a dragon. What is Kaido? Kaido is a duck, but he is also a dragon. He is a duck dragon. So Kaido, this fixes a lot of issues. Because number one, if he wanted to die, which a lot of people, once again, I reread One Piece recently. There's no indication that Kaido wants to die. He's just gets drunk and bored and does stupid things. I'm not saying that he doesn't want to die, but that is not confirmed. That is a fan theory that everyone has taken to as though it's fact. That Kaido is suicidal. It doesn't really seem like there's a lot of evidence for that, but upon reread, Kaido never said oh, woe is me, I don't want to live anymore. He's never said anything to that regard. So just food for thought there. But the thing is that this confirms another thing that a lot of people have said. Well, if Kaido, if he does or doesn't have a devil fruit, either way, why not just drown himself? If he has a devil fruit, then he can sink to the bottom of the ocean and drown. If he's got the legendary fish fruit, a lot of people have been talking about the water fruit. But a fish fruit would likely negate the hatred of the sea. Something that a lot of people said, that the water Nomi would be the strongest devil fruit because it would be the one devil fruit that would counteract the weakness of devil fruits. But a fish fruit, which people have brought up before, what about a shark fruit and stuff? And a lot of people surmise, well, that's why Oda created the fishmen tribe, to show, okay, yeah, we're not going to go down that avenue. But no. The mythical fish fruit would be the model koi. And the koi, Kaido climbed the waterfall. Maybe this was awakened. It would make sense, given the legend. The mythical koi fruit might automatically be a dragon, or the dragon might be his awakened version. But either way, now he can't drown himself if he did want to die. Going on the line of reasoning that he did want to die. That might not be the case, whatever. Once again, it's not really... there's a lot of evidence to say Kaido's suicidal, but it's not really confirmed either in manga chapter. Not that I saw, but it might have been somewhere on SBS or something. Either way, the other thing I want to talk about, I'm really happy about this because the whole koi fish, it makes so much sense. It keeps with the samurai motif. It keeps with what Oda's doing with all the legends, and he's using taking so much from Japanese mythology. He's taking so much of it, and then he's adding it in. The whole legend of a koi fish turning into a dragon. It makes so much sense. The scales, they look like koi scales. Everyone said dragon scales, but now they look like koi scales on just taking a quick look. A mythical, there's just so much there that works. A lot of people are making fun of it, but if you read the legend, it makes total sense. Kaido either awakened it, or the mythical variation of the fish fruit is automatically the goddamn shining dragon blessed by the gods. This is fantastic. This is such a big reveal. It's so great. And the other thing I want to bring up, on the day rocks fell into ruin at God Valley, I gave you the legendary model of the fish fruit. Rocks used to have that fruit. Just saying, Blackbeard might not be the only one who understands how a devil fruit works. If anybody else were to know, it'd be Vegapunk and the Yonko. Out of most people in the world, would you not assume that some of the Yonko would know how a devil fruit reincarnates? If you were going to pick like a group of people, you know, the Gorosei, Vegapunk, the Yonko, that's who I would assume would be one of the groups that would know, if any group. So, I'm not saying this for sure. I'm saying it as a theory. A theory that Rocks had this model fruit and gave it to Kaido. Because Big Mom, of course, already had the Soul fruit, and when Rocks fell, the fruit reincarnated when he died. Now, this is assuming that Rocks is dead, but the day Rocks fell, why would she hold on to this after the battle was lost? Why wouldn't she give this fruit to Kaido during the battle they might have won at God Valley, for example? So, it falls to me to understand that when Rocks fell, the fruit reincarnated, and to escape God Valley, you know, I thought of you as a little brother. You owe me your life for this. I gave you Rocks' devil fruit that you now have that allowed you to turn into a dragon and escape. That's the way I'm taking it. It's just a theory, a fan theory, but it's my theory. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to call it now, that's what I believe happened. Rocks had Kaido's devil fruit. The legendary ancient, the mythical zone fish fruit. Very powerful fruit that negates, once again, assuming that it negates the weakness of devil fruits. Would be ideal for a dude of the caliber of Rocks, turning into a dragon for God's sakes. And when Rocks was defeated, Big Mom happened to grab the fruit, give it to Kaido, and that's how they escaped God Valley. Along with Whitebeard and a few others, and that's how probably some of the other ones, Wang Ji, Silver Axe, Shiki, that they probably got trapped and caught by Garp and Roger in the end after Rocks was defeated. This is just my thinking, but it's possible, isn't it? It's possible. Just the wording right there seems like the moment Rocks fell, I gave you that fruit, and you owe me for life for that, Kaido. I mean, you could argue that you owe me for life because I gave you I gave you a mythical zone, the rarest fruits in the world. I gave you one of the mythical zones. You owe me for that. You could argue that. But once again, why on the day that Rocks fell? Why not before? And why not give it to him, so they could maybe turn the tide? There's so many implications here. And I really like it. Either way, this has been chapter 999. Next chapter hits January 3rd. But as I've said before, there will likely be a translation from the sources that I have. There is likely going to be a translation that comes out before the new year. And if that's the case, I don't want to be spoiled and I don't want to stay off the internet for 10 days. So, that being the case, we are going to likely do a stream, or at the very least a live reaction, if not a stream, doing chapter 1000 of One Piece. I don't know when that is, guys. We'll just have to wait to see if there is an unsanctioned release of the chapter before then. But chapter 1000 is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's here. I'm ready. Are you guys ready? I know this was a super long review. Probably going to be not a very well-watched video, but either way, I'll probably make a separate video talking about Rocks having this fruit later on, just to, fill out some One Piece content, because I've been slacking on that. And that way, anybody who didn't want to sit through 2 hours of me rambling about chapter 999 will still get to see that I called my theory first. So, That being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. I gotta go watch some football. Drink responsibly as always, and we'll see you back here next time. Merry Christmas, everyone.